Good evening and welcome to Market Insight. Vietnam electronics industry is one of the most compelling growth stories in the global manufacturing right now. Mid-year figures show the sector of generated nearly $192 billion in the trade turnover, with the export contributing over $92 billion, which is 30% of the country's total export. Is this just a tube label, a scale, or a foundation of the genuine manufacturing hubs? This is a rising question. So joining me tonight is the market researcher Hoàng Thuỷ. So thank you Thuỷ for being here. My first question is, what's your take on Vietnam industry at the moment?
Yeah, thank you for having me today. And I think Vietnam electronics sector is a tremendously important inflection point. And I think the data will tell the story more than the headline.
Yeah. Alright, thanks for your interview. So many argue in the industry is still mainly assembly and processing work. What is your view?
I think that is the truth now, but that is actually the opportunities for the investor, because Vietnam still impact most of its component, mainly from China, from South Korea, and also from Taiwan. So which is why the sectors is trades deficit to about $3.6 billion in the first quarter. And according to VEIA, they told that is mostly timing issues, because seeing the part get like import month before the finished product ship. And the real gap is that the localizations, because still only 14 to 15% some statement, and this gap is exactly where the component maker and also the supplier can move it right now.
Typically, the investor will be looking for?
I think 3 places to start. The first one is the component and the supporting industry, like the circuit board or some connector and packaging material. This is the weakest link to the chain right now. And the second is that the semiconductor packaging and also testing, like a clear government in Vietnam. We priorities with the tech break and also the land support to already in this plate. And the final is the R&D and also the engineering center, like some city, big city like Hải Phòng. They are now offering the direct financial investment, like about the housing, about the researcher grant and the packaging to bring bring the semiconductors to, and also AI talent.
Looking ahead, what's your outlook for the rest of 2026?
According to VEIA, also their forecast is about 15 to 20% export growth this year, and it is in fact. And also possibilities a new record in Vietnam. And some country like India or Indonesia, they are chasing the same. However, I think Vietnam had something special, like Vietnam built out the industrial base and trade agreements network. So it isn't a bet on potentials anymore. It is a market already provide itself with the room that few to anyone who want to come in.
Alright, thank you for your valuable insight today. To see exactly what that early investment like in practice will send our field to the ground.
So thank you reporters at the studio, and coming with here today is Vân Khanh from Samsung Vietnam, and we will talk about why global companies they come here to invest in Vietnam. Please welcome Ms. Ha Anh.
Thank you, it's great to be here. At Samsung, we have since grown into one of the world leading electronics manufacturing hubs. So today, Samsung operates major manufacturing complex in Bắc Ninh, Thái Nguyên, and Ho Chi Minh City. So producing products for customers around the world, and Vietnam still has huge potential, and I believe the future is very promising.
So when thinking about electronics industries, they often think about global markets like China, South Korea, Taiwan. So why global companies they come here to invest in Vietnam? So we'll talk about the reasons that would Ms. Ha Anh.
So from Samsung experience, Vietnam has four main advantages. First, about a young and skilled workforce, and every year many engineer students graduate and quickly adapt to new technologies. And second, Vietnam has many free trade agreements, helping companies export products to major markets with lower costs. And third, Vietnam has a strategic location. For example, products can be shipped efficiently through Haiphong port to customers around the world. And finally, the government strongly supports high-tech manufacturing through tax incentive and industrial parks, giving investors more confidence to expand the business.
So those advantages are one, why global companies they come here to invest in this industry in Vietnam. So another topic many investors are talking about is China plus one strategy. And Ms. Kim, how important is this trend for Vietnam?
It's very important. Many companies now want to diversify the production instead of relying on the one country, and Vietnam has become one of the best choice because it's stable business environment and competitive cost, also the manufacturing readiness, and furthermore elevated the diplomatic relations and comprehensive strategic partnership with major technical economy and solidify Vietnam's position in global electronics supply chain.
So we talk about why Vietnam is attractive. So now let's look at the opportunities. If an investor wants to enter Vietnam industry, especially electronic industry today, where should they start?
From Samsung experience, I see three main opportunities. First is manufacturing. More global companies are choosing Vietnam as a production base, so the demand for factories and production partners continue to grow. Second is the supporting industry, including logistics, industrial parks, and electronic parts suppliers. Finally, I'm very excited about semiconductors and R&D. Samsung has also established a large R&D center in Hanoi, showing our long-term commitment to developing engineering talent in Vietnam.
Semiconductors, they are receiving a lot of attentions today. So Vietnam is also working closely with United States to develop the industry. So while the opportunities are exciting, what challenges should investors be prepared?
First, infrastructure, especially security, a stable supply of green renewable energies in critical at global ranks, ready to restrict global net zero mandates. Second, as we move into advanced electronics, the market faces a tight supply of mid to senior management talent. Another challenge is administrative procedures, but the working with experienced local partners can make the process much easier. Overall, the challenges are improving every year and won't stop Vietnam long-term growth.
So Ms. Ha Anh, before we end today, what's your final message to investors who are still thinking about investing in Vietnam?
My message is simple. So Vietnam's already becomes one of the world leading electronics manufacturing hubs with a skilled workforce, strong government support, and growing supply chains. Vietnam offers great opportunities. If you're looking for a long-term growth in electronics manufacturing, I believe Vietnam is one of the best places to invest in.
So there you have it. From Hoàng Tiên reads on where the opportunity lies to Samsung own experience building one of its largest manufacturing footprint right here in Vietnam. Two very different point of view pointing to the same conclusion. Vietnam's electronic industry isn't a bet on potential anymore. It's a market already proving itself, and also the one of the world's biggest market tech name are betting on early. And that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.